Hey, Patrick here. I'm going to go through and review a game that I played against Kano on my Azalea list. And I think that this is like pretty considerably Azalea favored. I think the only reason that it's not just like a complete lockout of a matchup is that Kano just kind of has a baseline ability to pop off and kill you. So I think they're always going to have like that 20 or whatever percent to just win games where they blind flip into a bunch of tomes and see all the right combo cards to kill you. So looking at the equipment though, I'm bringing in AB2. So I have a natural AB on the bullseye, and I think this card is just really good when you're trying to press damage. As well, have the AB1 on my Skullbone, and the Opt is just going to be great at, again, pushing damage. And then also running Spell Void 2. So I have the Spellfray Cloak in the chest, and then I have Spellfray Leggings in the legs. So AB2 plus Spell Void 2 is just going to be insane in these short games. I don't expect it to go too long. I want to end the game quickly. I don't think they're going to try to stack me. So I'm not bringing in. Yeah, I don't think they're going to try to stack me. So yeah, I think that the equipment is going to be the thing that makes or breaks these Kano games. Looking down to the deck though, I need to bring in 10 cards. And I don't think these matter too much. They're probably just going to be like a bunch of 1-for-5s. So Infecting Shot, probably the best arrow I'm bringing in, just because it can be a 1-for-7. They don't want to pitch into the Bloodrot because they want to be just, pinging me for damage instead. And it's inefficient to pitch into Bloodrot. Bringing in one Red in the Ledger. This isn't a Red in the Ledger matchup, but it's a 1-for-5 arrow. I don't really have anything better. Maybe I could consider it a 0-for-4 in the Murkmire. But yeah, maybe that's a better choice. Similarly, Remorseless here. It's a 1-for-5. Stopping the D-Reacts from Arsenal is probably not relevant. I don't think they should be running the pitch stack planted to me. Um, I'd be happy if they did. I think I'd just kill them. And sometimes it's gonna be like a 1-for-6 because they might play action cards. Um, but I don't really expect either line of text to be relevant. I mean, sometimes the bottom line might be more relevant, but probably not. And then I'm also bringing in 3 Sleep Dart. Turning off Kano is nice, but they can always just respond to me shooting Sleep Dart by Kanoing. So I don't see this being super great. Maybe I should consider the Murkmires over one of these arrows, but that's only because it's a 0-for-4, and not pitching is nice into Kano. Just being able to hold an extra card to prevent it. Yeah, let's hop into it. Here we are in game, and my opponent wins the die roll and chooses to go first. I think that makes sense because they just get to try and leak some damage. I'm a pretty red heavy deck, so if they manage to get multiple good Kano flips, then I'm probably unlikely to be able to block all of it. But they start off with the Spindle coming in for 5. I can only prevent 2 of it. I'm not going to spend my Spell Void here. Usually it is a good idea to spend Spell Void on pumped up Aether Spindles, or at least consideration, but not here. And they leave one on top. It's the Potion of Deja Vu, which they just flip into. So they don't have an arsenal. And notably, I sent away the Codex of Frailty there to pitch. I think it's just a less impactful card in this matchup because it doesn't actually actively disrupt compared to the Codex of Bloodrot, which I'm playing out here. So forcing them to arsenal is good, right? This is a random 4 cards. They generally, they can have some really bad hands that you just have like cards they don't want to arsenal that they just want to block with or pitch away. So I'm hoping I hit them there. But it also gives me the opt. I find another pump on top, draw into that. I get the ponder, right? So this is a really good start for me. Only taking 3 damage on their turn 0, and then coming in for 11 with Seek and Destroy on hit. Good stuff. Ponder, great. The fact that I'm, shields down, no pitch, doesn't really matter here. Or it usually doesn't matter just because they have a random 4 cards. They didn't opt any of these cards. There's no setup here. So there's kind of the fact that they're just like flipping into stuff means they're just kind of like, blindly flipping at this point. But it looks like they are finding some good cards off the top. They're spending the Ragamuffins. They got the Kindle there as well. They had to pitch away a red. Yeah, they're just going for it, man. They get a Tome. They get a Cindering. And they're starting to get to a limitation in their hand, which is lack of pitch and lack of playable cards. So Gaze really helps there. It's going to help them set up for next turn. All right, so they go bottom, bottom. That's awesome. Love to see it. So they're probably just going to shoot me with the wildfire here. I don't think they can afford to Kano again in a nice way. Okay, coming for 7. And the only follow-up they could have that's like meaningful would be Stormstriders and Blazing Aether from Arsenal. But that was just a random card they put there. It's a really good Arsenal target, so maybe they did that. They didn't put the Aether Flare there. Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of speaking out of turn here. But either way, I don't think that I pop my Spell Void there. It would prevent 6 damage, and it would leave me at 22. But if they had the Blazing Aether, that's only if they had the Blazing Aether, and I'm not going to play around that. Yeah, so the last card, the one in Arsenal, was the Tome of Fyendal. So that's a really good turn for me. They used their headpiece for the like pseudo combo turn. They spent a lot of good cards, and they're just drawing back up to a random 4 cards. So I'm just kind of keeping them on the back foot here. If that turn went better for them, then I would be in a more tricky position. But as it stands, I'm coming in for 13 here. And notably, when I opted, I put the Spire Sniping to the top because I knew I'd draw it. And I really like that decision looking at this now. In the moment, I also think it was I like the decision because it just means that here, the Endless Arrow is like very likely to hit unless they're playing D-Rax, which I don't think they will be in this matchup. Then this is going to hit. I'll be able to Arsenal that. And then they're going to have Inertia, Bloodrot, and I will have a Endless Arrow in Arsenal and a blue in hand. That is a really powerful position for me to be in, like going into what I think will be the final turn of the game. Yeah, this is like going perfectly for me. They've had some like really good luck that's been followed up by just like kind of duds. So yeah, this is going well for me. This is how I want my Kano games to go. I'm just forcing them to try and high roll, and they're just not quite making it. So this is good. Here, just getting the flip into Tome of Aetherwind, and then flip again to get, yeah, Aether Dart. Fine. I don't think I care about this damage. I could consider pitching the blue, but I think that's how I lose the game. I think if I pitch the blue here, then I'm just gonna like I don't know. I don't know what I do on my turn. It'd be a horrible turn. I'd like double pumps, shoot an endless, and then have like a red in hand arsenal. It sounds pretty bad. I think taking 28 compared to 30 doesn't matter when I have AB2 and Spell Void 2. Yep, that's good. Leave it on top. So flip into the pump and then load in the Infecting Shot and hopefully draw another pump. Doesn't really matter too much. I think just drawing like a yellow or a blue would be good, just so that I can not die. Okay, so I draw a yellow. Cool. And I'll come in for 14 here, I think. Yeah, 14. Yeah. But they're just forced to go off here. They can't live this. I mean, they could block with 2 cards and then just try to like ping me. That might be a thing. And then live at some number of life and try to kill me next turn. But instead, they're choosing to just go for it. And I think so far what they flipped is just not good enough. They have a Blazing, and they need like 3 tomes here. I've already seen 3 tomes. I've seen 2 Tome of Aetherwind and 1 Tome of Fyendal. Here, I should just fully block this. Don't give them any ops, because that's like their only out, is if they manage to find all the tomes. So yeah, 14. Still lethal. They're still not doing anything. Yeah, that's gonna be it. GG's. Here we are in post game, and that was pretty much how I want my Kano games to go when they matter. That was me presenting a turn 4 lethal. It was disrupting them in meaningful ways, turn after turn, with Arsenal destruction effects in the Seek and Destroy and Lace Inertia. And it was me also showing that it wasn't really me showing how good the equipment is, but in the end there, it stopping 2 more damage off of the Aether Spindle could have mattered. It could have made them draw some more tomes, but it basically just made the game end exactly there, and they didn't get an out from that point. Other than that, I don't think that that game was that interactive. I had a few decisions that I think I just made correctly. It was basically like 4 decisions, right? They presented Arcane four times in that game, and the Aether Dart for 2. I'm never blocking that. The turn 1 Aether Spindle, I'm basically just throwing a yellow in front of that every time, but I had choice between 2 yellows. And when they came in with on their turn 2 with the Aether Wildfire, that was for 7, but my read was worst case, they're going to present another 14 and use their boots. And then on the final turn, like I already said, it was the Aether Spindle where it didn't really matter too much. I just kind of locked him out of the game. So I didn't have a lot of decisions. It was basically just me running my deck as efficiently as I could. I guess the most important decision I made was putting that blue to the top and then drawing it. That just kind of locked them out of the game too. Didn't give them an out, but even then, I don't think that would have really mattered. So yeah, this wasn't the best game to review in terms of how interesting it was or how many meaningful decisions there were. It was a lot of just watching Kano play their game